Guys, there's a running theory that the radio frequency from phones, radios, and other electronics negatively affects the range and efficacy of Avalanche transceivers. So we're in the field today to do a little field testing. Okay, so my Peeps DPS Sport beacon is in search mode, and I've gone to the upper limit of distance from the other beacon we're working with. So I'm reading 47 meters currently and one victim, which is correct as we only have one other beacon in the area. Right now I'm reading 47, so I'm reading basically between 45 and 49. As you can see, it just went blank. I'm at the upper limit. And I do not have my radio on. However, I do have my phone on, which would be the other electronic device, a variable that I could think of that would affect our range.
So right now I'm literally sending via radio to Dakota, and we're trying to determine if there's any change in receiving on our beacons. So I'm just going to keep sending the whole time so that this is a reasonable test. I'm not going to go in and out of sending.
So I'm standing in the same position as I was. I'm still reading 45 meters. I now have my radio on, and what's interesting is when I didn't have my radio on, my beacon lost signal for a moment, and then when I turned my radio on, it actually re-found the signal. So it is unclear whether that was the variable that affected this, but I'll walk towards the other beacon again until we gain a signal. So now we're showing 41 meters. 43, so it's bouncing around a little bit even though I am moving closer to the other beacon. I'm at 39. I'm gonna start
so I'm still
backing up again. My radio is receiving, but I am not sending, so my range here, I'm not picking up the signal, but I'm still not picking up signal. Now I am. Cool. So in today's initial beacon test, which is far from being comprehensive, just a quick field test, we were using a Peeps Free Ride and a Peeps DPS Sport. The Free Ride was in transmit mode, and the Peeps DPS Sport transceiver in search mode. I traveled roughly 45 to 50 meters away from the beacon in send mode, and that's where I started to lose signal. At that point I would oscillate. I'd move towards the source and away from the source several meters, losing and gaining signal. I then repeated that with my radio on, and I was on a VHF channel frequency, and what's interesting is when I immediately turn on my radio, the frequency that had been lost on the search mode on my beacon actually began to find the beacon immediately at that distance. It is unclear whether that was the variable that changed it, but then as I tried to move forward and backward with my radio on in receiving mode with a friend transmitting, I moved back and forth to gain and lose signal again, and the results were roughly the same as not having a radio. So at this point it did not appear that the radio frequency and radios transmitting negatively affect the search of or the range of the beacon.